recording. So let's start with a small review of the standards. So one thing that can be confusing is that the standard hours or the standard quantity are based on the actual units. I'm just gonna. Well, the standard rate and the standard price, they're based on like the cost per like instead of the total is only like per unit or per hour or per like raw material. So it's like it's a smaller unit, if that makes sense.
So it's on a per unit basis.
Yeah. Yeah, well, this one is the total.
Okay.
So for example, if they say that, let's see, they sold 3,000 units and each unit needs, I don't know, 3 hours to make. And each hour they pay, let's say $10. Then what would be the standard hours?
3 hours.
9,000.
Well, 3 hours is this standard hour, but per unit. But the number that we're gonna use for like the pitchfork or the formulas is the total. So we always multiply 3 hours times 3,000. Meanwhile, the standard rate is just gonna be $10. So you don't multiply times the units. Does that make any sense?
Yeah, so when you're wanting to know how much actual units total were used, and you would use a 9,000, right?
Yeah.
But then if you're saying what's the price of each hour, that's $10.
Yeah. So the standard hour is 9,000 hours. The standard rate is $10. So when you multiply the standard hours times the standard rate, which is the third column in the pitchfork, is the 9,000 times $10, not 3 hours times 10.
Okay, so that's
So
9,000.
90,000. Yeah. So that's the tricky thing. And not only with the standard, also with the actual hours, actual quantity is based on the total units that they sold or that they purchased or that they used, while the actual rate or the actual price is the number only per unit.
So say if so the AO, the actual output, that's the 3,000, right? And the SQA, standard quantity per hour, is a 3 hours. Is that right?
I'm sorry, I was adding new people, so I couldn't really hear you.
That's okay. So if the problem gives me, the actual hours, that would be the 3,000, and I think the amount it makes to take an item, right, is the $3. The SQA is, not $3, 3 hours.
3 hours, yeah. Yeah, so the 3,000 is actually units instead of hours. So for Denise and Laura that just joined, we're talking about the standard hours and the standard quantity versus the standard rate and the standard price. And like when it's or standard hours or actual hours is based on the total actual units that they sold. So if we say that they sold 3,000 units and it takes 3 hours to make 1 unit, the standard hour will be 9,000 hours, while the rate and the price is only per unit. So it wouldn't, if they say that they pay $10 per hour, then it's only $10. So what it can be confusing is that if in a problem they tell you it's 3 hours to make one unit, then you would use the 3 hours as a standard hours, but you actually have to multiply times the units. So this will be the actual standard hours.
Thank you.
Okay, that makes a little bit more sense to me now.
Would it be
Okay.
possible to do this on a, like one of the questions from the quiz this week?
Yeah,
Because that's the difficult part for me, is like understanding the T and where everything goes and how that works, it's fine, but getting that information from what's available on the actual problem is what's killing.
And,
Ciphering what it is.
last night when I was taking the quiz, when I was doing the homework, so one of the questions they even added like taking part of the inventory, and that was that totally boof. So
yeah, maybe we should review that question. Was it 9.2?
I think it was 9.3.
9.3, okay. I think probably question 2.
That one, yeah. Like
Working.
no,
Okay, so
let's see. It's the one that says that they at the end of the month they have this amount of units that they didn't use.
yeah, so this company, these are all standards, right? Standard for materials and for labor. And these are all actual. So during the month, 11,400 pounds of material were purchased at a cost of $2.40 per pound, and the company produced 1140 units. Okay, so this number we will need it for the standards too. So it's 1,140 units. And then using 10,000 to 60 pounds of material, 670 hours of direct labor, time were recorded at a labor cost of 8,040. So the direct materials price first is, and this is, okay, so the price variance is the first column and the second column of the pitchfork. So actual price times actual quantity times actual price minus actual quantity times standard price. So the AQ is, what is it? Let's see.
240 times 11,400 pounds, right?
Yeah, so it's only the 11,400.
Because we have to use what we actually purchased, not what we actually used in the price variance.
Yeah, what we actually purchased. So that was letter A, 11,400 is the actual quantity. And they'd say that they purchase for a cost of $2.40 per pound. So that is the actual price. And the total actual price and actual quantity is these two multiplied together, 27,360. So for the actual quantity, still 11,400, and the standard price is right here, $2.50 per pound. So you see the difference of those two is the price variance. Now let's just find out how they did the standard quantity, because it says that standard quantity or hours for materials, for only materials is 5.9 pounds. But they don't use 5.9 pounds right here. They use 6,726. And that's what we were talking about because the standard quantity is the pounds times the actual units. So 1,140. So if we multiply,
Sorry, really quick, that's the pounds times the actual units produced. Yeah,
yeah,
okay, okay.
or maybe it's only used, let's see, times 59. Yeah, so if you multiply 1,140 times 5.9 pounds, that is the standard quantity right there, 6,726. And then the standard price, that one is just this one. You don't have to multiply it times 1,140 because it's only per pound. So 250. Then 6,726 times 250, 16,815. So if you use, instead of using 6,726, if you use this 5.9, then the whole problem is gonna be wrong. Just remember that you always have to multiply times the actual units.
That's
Yeah.
helpful, thank you.
Okay.
So, and with that pitchfork that you were showing, I think what I was getting confused at, I think what's important to take away from that is with the price variance, you're just using the standard that we're used to, but when you do the materials, you have to use the actual materials used, and that's what Tyler showed in his video, and you did too, so that's why you're doing the extra step here at the bottom with the quantity variance.
This one?
Yep, yep. I just wanted to add that just for more clarification.
Oh, yeah.
Just because it took me way longer than it should have to understand that.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
So on the quantity, the standard quantity over on like working on the quantity variance, that 6,726, you used the actual production of 1,140 units
Let's see.
to get that 6,726.
Yeah, this
that's
one
what it
was
says.
using the 1,140, and then this 10,260 pounds is this one right here, just
Mhm.
used. So only the units used.
Okay, so that's one area where I was having a problem with, is because where it's saying the standard quantity, that was one of the variables I could never figure out because
Okay,
it's using actual quantity.
yeah,
I mean, it's using the actual units that were produced that month to figure out the standard quantity on the pounds used.
yeah. So that's the difference.
Okay.
This one, that's why there are two numbers right here, because this one is the purchased and these are using the used units. Let's see, do you guys want to go over another question, homework question, or?
I have one pulled up.
Okay.
Do
you want to share the screen or
yeah.
I can do it too?
Sorry, I'm just trying to, my stuff's kind of hidden right now. I don't know what's going on with it.
No one can hear me.
There we go.
I don't know why.
Yes, Janice, we can hear you.
You can hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so weird. Usually it like lights up around you if you can hear. And last night in the teacher meeting, no one could hear me no matter what.
Yeah, I could hear you like really quiet, but now I hear you fine.
Yeah, I don't know. Something's going on with my computer. Like I'm quiet when there's a little yellow line on the bottom, but when it all is yellow, then people can hear.
Huh.
I don't know what's going on. Just go ahead.
So is this question? Oh, this is the quiz. Okay. So Brendan, what is your question?
Get apart.
So on here, this one is asking for, sorry, it's asking for the variable overhead efficiency variance.
Okay.
So we know that that is the same as the labor, right? Efficiency variance.
Yeah,
Mhm,
So could we go ahead and just work the problems?
mhm. Okay, so we're just gonna look at variable overhead, the last column in the table. And then let's look at the actual. So we need this one. They did the actual variable overhead rate was $4.90 per hour. The variable overhead is based on direct labor hours. So we will need the labor hours too. So this one, actual direct labor hours. Well, we will need the units again for the standard hours, standard quantity, 5,800. Oh, okay, never mind. So that one is the budgeted the budgeted units, but they actually sold or made 8,600 units. So we're just gonna use that one. And then I think that's it. Okay.
They wouldn't throw in so much stuff that you don't need.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can
So
you,
just
can we do all three? Like instead of just doing the efficiency variance, can we just solve this for everything?
For all of
So
them?
we can see the whole process.
Maybe
Okay.
on a spreadsheet would be nice if you.
Yeah, let's start with variable overhead. So because they're asking for the efficiency variance, that's gonna be column 2 and column 3. So column 2 is actual hours times the standard rate. And then standard hours times the standard rate. So the actual hours, do you guys know what it is?
1990.
Right. 1990. Standard rate.
It would be $4 per hour. wouldn't
Right, yeah.
Or is it 19 since it's based on direct labor hours?
Yeah, because variable overhead is based on direct labor hours. So that's why.
Okay, never mind. I see.
So if we multiply 1990 times 4, 7,000.
I'm not understanding why you picked the 4 instead of the 19.
Talking variable overhead standard price rate up at the top, Janice.
Okay.
Okay. I lost the calculator. Okay,
it?
7,000.
Yeah, this question was just for variable overhead.
Yeah, we're just doing the variable overhead. Now, so we know that standard rate is 4 and standard hours. So it's 0.3 hours. That is the standard hours. Is that the number that we're gonna use here?
No, we're gonna times it by the actual output.
Perfect. So 0.3 times 8,600.
Well, that makes sense on why I missed this one. Because when it says standard hours or standard output, you know what I mean? I use the originally budgeted output because that's usually the standard on the previous problems that we've worked.
Yeah. So yeah, so we talked about this last week. So there are like 3 numbers, right? So there's the budgeted output, which they budgeted 5,800 units.
Mhm.
And then the actual, which will be like the third one, was actually 8,600. So when we create a flexible budget, which is using the standard cost times the actual units. So we forget completely about the 5,800. Every time that they say the original budgeted units, just ignore it because we're only going to use the actual.
So the original budgeted output is just when you're doing a flexible budget, not when you're doing variances. Is that what you're saying?
Right, yeah. Yeah. And I don't remember any question that they ask you where you have to use the budgeted output, at least for this chapter. So yeah, just use the actual output. So now we do.
I'm sorry,
Yeah.
I have one more question. I'm having a hard time grasping the AR, the AHSR, the first column. So I see that it's based off of direct labor hours. So that's why you put the 1990.
Mhm.
But wouldn't that actually be the actual direct labor hours right here from 1,990?
Yeah. I don't understand, like, why we're using 1990?
Oh, because 1990 per hour under direct hour up there. And the second column where it says direct labor, that's 1990, and then there's a $4 under it.
You're talking
Yeah.
$90 per hour. Is that what you're saying, Jenny?
Yeah, so the AH is that $19 per.
So the AH is 1,990. The standard rate is $4. So $4 per hour.
Okay, I was thinking that was $19. Okay,
Oh, okay.
sorry, I'm obviously I'm confused and I'm trying to grasp at everything at once.
Yeah. So we see they use 1990 hours. So that's why it's the actual hours. And the standard rate is from here. So $4 per hour. And we use
So-
it here too.
So what does it mean when it says that it's based on direct labor hours then?
Well, the variable overhead is just based on direct labor hours. So if they use direct labor, if the direct labor is 0.3 hours, it's gonna be the same for variable overhead, but it's always, the rate is different
Okay,
because
Okay.
variable overhead is usually cheaper than
Variable
what they
overhead
actually
would
pay
be
for.
activity based, right?
Yeah, that is the activity based. So instead of hours, it could have been machine hours or ounces too.
okay, that makes sense. Thank you.
So you're using of the pitchfork, you're using the middle one and the far right one. You're not even worrying about the far left one for this.
Yeah,
variance.
because for this one, we're just doing deficiency variance and I don't have a lot of space. I'm just doing column 2 and column 3. So this is the 3. So here we're gonna multiply 2,580 times 4. So the total standard hours times the standard rate is 10,320. So the efficiency variance will be only the difference of these two. 10,320 minus 7,960.
Does it matter which way you subtract that?
It doesn't matter, but if you want to get a positive number for favorable and a negative number for unfavorable, then always subtract from the standard to the actual. So this one minus this one. And then I got a positive number, 2,360.
That's favorable.
Hey, Natalia,
Yeah.
one easy way that that someone showed me was if when you're looking at this efficiency variance, it's 2 minus 3. If the left side is bigger than the right side, so if 2 is bigger than 3 when we're subtracting, it's going to be unfavorable. If 2 is smaller than 3, like on our numbers up top, so 7,960 is smaller than 10,320, it's going to be favorable because 2 minus 3. If that makes any sense, the left side is smaller,
Yeah.
so it's favorable.
Yeah. So I can do 3 things. I can just do the right side minus the left side if it's a positive number, it's favorable. The second thing that I can do is, well, they should have spent $10,320 and they spend $7,960. That means it's favorable because they spend less. And the third thing that I could do is, because, well, this standard rate is the same here and here, so $4. We're looking at the difference of hours. So 2,580 and 1990, because they use less hours. 1990 is smaller than 2,580. That's why it's favorable too, because they use less hours. So yeah, it depends how comfortable you feel figuring out how, if it's favorable or unfavorable. The other thing that you can do is also using the formula. So the formula is standard rate, because now we have that number in common, times standard hour minus actual hour. So that'd be for 2,580 minus 1990. And all of that will give us the same number. And you know that it's favorable because, again, 1990, which is the actual, is less than the standard hour. Okay, any questions for this one?
Just really quick on the, so if we were gonna go on the rate variance, like on the other side of it, the left side, that one,
Oh,
we would just be
okay.
using the actual hours, which is the 1990, times the actual rate, which is the $4.490, or sorry, $4.90 per hour. And then just subtracting 1 minus 2 to get that one.
Yeah. Yeah. So let's do that one really quick, just using the formula. So for the rate variance
Different color
is,
pen.
what was that?
I said maybe you could use a different color.
Yeah. So it's gonna be actual hours and then standard rate minus actual rate. So actual hours, we already know that it's 1990. And then standard rate for, and how you say actual, it's gonna be 490. Okay, and what is that?
9,751.
I got 1,781. And is that favorable or unfavorable?
Oh, the end result. It's unfavorable.
Yeah, because they spent 90 cents more per unit. Okay, so so do you want to do,
So that was the variable overhead rate you just did.
yeah, still in variable overhead. So do you guys want to do the materials or labor now?
Sure, let's do it all.
Okay. Okay, so let's do materials first. So we care about this first column right here. Again, the units will be important. Not that one. The second one. The raw materials is important. The actual raw materials used. The purchase raw materials. The price, the actual price of raw materials. And that's it. Okay.
We're doing
So
materials right now.
what was that?
We're doing the direct materials.
Yeah. So we're gonna use, we will have to do the purchase and the used. So let's do column 1, column 2, and column 3 right here. terrible too. Okay. So the actual quantity, because materials is quantity and price. Actual quantity is for purchased. What is it?
31,900.
So this one, 31,990. No, 900. And then the actual price. Do we know? What about this one?
Actual price of raw materials
Mm-hmm.
per ounce.
Yeah, that one is per ounce. I thought it was gonna be total. So 102.
That's crazy because the standard price rate is $4 per ounce. How does that?
Yeah, standard price is 4 per ounce, and the actual is 102.
But
It's
is
gonna
this
be-
102, is that total for all of them?
I think it's just gonna be total. Yeah, because there's no way. Let's see if we do 102.90 divided by 31,900. That's too small. This is a really bad question. I
Yeah.
think that's a mistake. Let's pretend that it says $5. Yeah, because it doesn't make any sense that 1 pound is $102.
You're in the millions on the price versus where you should.
Yeah, it'd be too big. So the actual price times actual quantity is 31,900 times 5, 159. I'm trying to write super small. 500. Now the second column is actual quantity, so the same 31,900. And then standard price. So you already said it's $4 per ounce. And multiply that and we get 127,600. Okay, the third column is standard quantity, standard price. So standard quantity, so it's 6.3 ounces per, well, 6.3 ounces. So what would be the total? And for this one, we're gonna be using used.
Okay. So will we do the actual output times that?
Yeah, perfect. So 8,600 times 6.3, so 54,000.
180.
180. And then the standard rate, again, 4. So let's multiply that. So 216,
By standard price.
720. Okay, and we also need to find the second column for used too. So for used, they used 30,900 right here. So 30,900. And the standard rate, sorry, standard price is 4 again. So 30,900 times 4, 123. What was that?
Oh, 123,600.
Yeah, okay. So what is the materials price variance? Is it column 1 and column 2 subtracted, or column 2 and column 3 subtracted?
1 and 2, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and also because is the price here, price 5 and price 4, and it's based on the purchase, so that one.
It's almost 1 minus 2A, right?
So,
Because you have to calculate twice.
so are you saying these two
Well,
numbers?
you have 2 in one column.
So it's 127,600 minus 159,500.
31,000.
Okay, and is that favorable or unfavorable?
That's unfavorable.
Spent more.
Yeah,
Left side's bigger than the right side, so it's unfavorable.
yeah, and we said that the price is 5 and the standard was 4, so yeah. Now for the use, the quantity variance.
So used is quantity variant.
Mm-hmm.
And we're using the second column because that's how many we actually used, not the standard quantity that we purchased.
Yeah,
So 2B minus 3.
yeah. So 216,720 minus 123,600.
93, 120.
93, just 93?
93, 120.
Okay. Favorable or unfavorable?
Favorable.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because there are less pounds here than right here. Okay. Does that make more sense now?
So material price variance is amount purchased
Yeah.
and quantity is amount used.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Which makes sense because price is purchase, so how much you pay for it, and used is quantity, how much quantity you used. Okay, so we have 20 minutes. What if we go through like questions that can be in the exam?
You want me to stop? I'll stop sharing.
Okay, thank you. All right. So these questions, have you guys seen the video for the study for exam 3?
Haven't watched that yet.
Yes.
There's
Okay.
a spreadsheet with a bunch of questions to practice. Is that what this is?
No, I made this spreadsheet just today.
Oh, okay.
Is this from
Really?
Brother Prater? Is that what you're talking about, Natalia?
Can you repeat that?
Are you talking about the video from Brother Prater? Is that what you're
Yeah.
talking about? Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, so before we go to this question, remember this static budget is what the budget they did before the month. So when they didn't know the actual amounts. And then the actual, well, is the actual. So the actual amount. So what is the flexible budget?
It's taking our actual numbers at the standard price. I don't remember.
Yeah,
Yeah.
perfect. So that we're gonna do something really similar to this question. So the planning budget, static planning budget, they budgeted 2,500 patients. This is for a hospital. And these are the standard. So for supplies is $370 per patient. And so they budgeted that in total was gonna be $9,250. For laundry is $4 per patient. Salaries 13,500 and OC 14,000. So The total, they budgeted 46,750.
Wait, what is OC?
I don't know. I just saw it on the video and I wrote it down. I think is,
Just
Okay.
something they're spending.
yeah,
costs.
it's a fixed expense. So
Other costs.
Oh, other costs.
other,
Fixed
yeah,
costs.
right. Okay. But this was the actual. So instead of 2,500 patients, there were actually 2,700 patients. So they're asking, what is the spending variance for laundry? Only for laundry. How
Oh,
How do you
only
think
for
it was?
laundry.
So
Yeah.
you're taking your actual and, well, you can, I guess you can do either way, but take your actual and take away the static from it. So that leaves you with 18 or 810
It's at 810 more.
than they
Right.
plan to.
That's really close. But remember that the planning budget was based on 2,500.
Oh,
So-
yeah.
So we actually need to do a flexible budget.
So don't you
Yes.
take 2,700 and times it by the $4 to get your flex budget for laundry?
Yeah, perfect.
Okay.
So 2,700 patients times 4 per patient for laundry is 10,800. And laundry, the actual was 10,810. So now what Jenny said, you subtract those two. So 10, that was only 10.
So we went over $10 more than we should have,
So that means it's unfavorable. Yeah.
given the actual numbers. Okay.
Mhm.
We didn't even have to do a pitchfork on this one. It just,
No, not with a
No.
flexible budget.
Yeah, because they're not asking for materials or direct labor or variable overhead. So you just do just the difference between the flexible budget and the actual. So
What I did to figure that out is I took the 2,500. I took the total divided by that, so I knew how much it was. And then I, per unit, so to speak, and then multiplied that by the 2,700. And then when I subtracted, I would have gotten the same thing.
so
I
you
did that also.
You did 2,500 divided by what?
No, I took the 46,750 divided by 2,500. So I had a per unit type of number, and then I multiplied that by the new number of patients, which got me a new number for everything. And
Okay.
then I subtracted the difference between the laundry, between the actual and the flexible.
Yeah.
that's the hard part, is making it way more difficult on ourselves. I had a pitchfork already drawn out for this one instead of just looking and going, what is it really
Yeah.
asking?
Yeah, when I saw spending variance, that's the first thing that came to my mind too. Was, oh, I'm gonna do a pitchfork.
Yeah.
But yeah, because this one is it only gives you the
Only
$4
asking for
information.
laundry.
You don't have to do that.
So you really don't have to do all the other numbers. You just have to find that number for that particular.
Yeah, so that's the trick.
So 10,000 divided by 250 and then multiply that by the 2,700.
Yeah, that not even the 10,000 is super
Mhm.
important. Is the $4. The $4, the
Wait,
actual
no.
laundry. Yeah, and the
So
unit.
since they give you the $4, you would just say $4 times. Okay.
Yeah, $4 times 2,700. So yeah, just remember for the exam, if they give you the static planning budget, like the units that they budgeted, that's not the number that you will use. You will always use the actual units.
Our teacher made it so that we had to score each question before we can move on to the next question, the quiz. He didn't mean to, but he did, and so I totally bombed it.
Like he.
Well, what
that was
we wanted him to make it so that when you were all done with the quiz, you could see how you did and solutions so that you could study for the final. But the change he made it so you couldn't move on until you finished the first problem, because whatever you put there, that was your answer. So you couldn't go back and fix anything.
Oof.
So he's changed that back, but that doesn't help me for passing this class.
Yeah. Then um okay, let's do this one because we're still in chapter 9. So these are the standards. Standard hours 0.4 hours per unit. Standard rate is $20 per hour. And this is the actual. So they actually made 50,000 units. They used 18,000 hours, and the total actual cost was 370,000. So what is labor efficiency variance?
So it's the standard rate, parentheses, actual hours minus standard hours.
Mhm. Yeah, that's perfect.
So we have to multiply the 0.4 times the 50,000 units.
Yeah,
Right.
for the standard hours, yeah.
Yeah.
So standard rate first is $20, and then actual hours 18,000 hours minus standard hours, which is 0.4 times 50,000 units.
I wish they were this simple.
They will be for the same. Okay, so it's 40,000. Even if it's positive or negative, how do you know if it's favorable or unfavorable?
You compare it to your actual cost,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
If
So
the actual hours are higher, then it's going to be unfavorable.
Yeah. So let's see. So the actual hours were 18,000, and the standard hours is 0.4 times 50,000.
So
20.
it's favorable.
Yeah.
Mm.
Perfect.
Because
Okay.
what they used is less than what they scheduled they were getting.
Yeah. So
They
they.
paid less in labor than they had planned on. So it's favorable.
Well, this is efficiency.
If it, okay, well, that's,
Yeah.
so they worked less hours.
Yes. There you go.
Thank you.
No
That's what I
problem.
meant. It didn't come out that way.
You're all right.
Yeah. So they used 2,000 hours more, less. I mean.
Natalia, did I hear you say that that's gonna be that easy on the exam?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah. These questions right here are really similar to, like, they're basically the hardest questions in the exam. I don't know if they changed the exam questions, but there are questions really similar to these ones. And these questions, the ones that brother Preeter, I don't remember his name.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, the one that he asked are the like the most missed questions. So this one was one of the most missed questions because people were using the 2,500 instead of the
When
27.
you have a question like this, but it adds in stuff like depreciation, that's where I messed up on the quiz. Because after I said score it, and I was like, oh shoot, I forgot the depreciation was the same here and there. And
Yeah.
I have a question. Do you know if we're gonna be doing the monthly budgets where they collect a certain amount on one month and then the next month and the next month? Are we gonna be doing that in the exam?
I think so.
I think so.
There is
We
one
went
on
over, our
the-
teacher went over it in a teacher meeting.
Can I join your teacher meetings?
Um,
Mine are Wednesday nights and they don't work.
I can post this over in the tutoring resource if you want.
That'd be great.
My teammate typed up as he was saying it, so I'll put it in the teacher resource after this is done.
Thank you.
Did you say that there are going to be collectibles in the exam?
Said, let's see. Cash collections for certain months, percentages in each month, do calculations, add percentages.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of like conceptual, there's like 7 conceptual questions.
Okay.
how many units to be produced in a given month, how many units on hand. That would be a nice one to do. Is that what this is? This raw materials type of thing?
Yeah,
Yeah, I need help with that one.
yeah. So there are beginning and ending inventory for finished goods and raw materials. And raw materials is in grams. Then finished goods requires 3 grams of raw materials. And the budgeted sales is 500,000 units. So how much raw materials do they need to purchase?
So we know that each finished good is 3 grams of raw materials.
The
Mhm.
1.5 million grams.
So 500,000 times 3 or would be the,
Okay, so
Minus your beginning.
oh yeah, then you have to add your ending and subtract your beginning.
yeah, so remember that with, let's see, where is this diagram is really important. So there's first the sales budget. Based on the sales budget, you do the production budget, and then based on production budget, the materials budget. So before doing the raw materials, we need to know how many units we need to produce based on the production budget.
Okay,
Okay, so production budget. First, the sales budget. I mean, yeah, the sales budgeted unit sales, which is 500,000 units. Then we're gonna add the desired ending inventory, finished goods inventory.
for raw. So we do the finish before we do the raw.
Yeah,
Okay, okay.
so we're just gonna do, yeah, the units before. So the ending inventory is 8,400. So you add those two together. Okay, and then you're going to subtract the beginning inventory. Because you already have 6,300 units, so you don't have to make that amount. So this one minus 6,300 is 502. So the 502,100 is the units you need to produce. Now, if we do like a small raw materials budget, then we will need the units to need to produce 502,100.
Why don't the raw materials match on beginning inventory? Is it missing a number?
Like this one or this one?
Yeah, the one up top. Because it
On
should be
top.
6,300 times 3, right? For that number.
Well, so far we're just doing the units. Now we're gonna do times the grams because we're gonna do the raw materials. So
Okay.
now that we know we need to make 502,100 units in raw materials. So in grams is 3 grams, right? So 3 grams
Mhm.
of raw materials, so we multiply it. Okay, so 1,500, 506, 1,506,300.
So that's how many grams we're gonna need to produce a 500 units.
Yeah. Yep, that's it.
Okay.
So what are those
Okay.
numbers up there under raw materials grams at the top?
Yeah, okay, right. So we're not done yet. So now we're gonna, just like how we added the ending inventory and subtracted the beginning inventory, we're gonna do the same with this. So add beginning, sorry, desired ending
How much your
raw materials. 92,000. Then we're gonna subtract the beginning 1000 grams. And that gives us,
Raw materials needed to purchase.
So that is the answer, 1,597,300. Okay, so yeah, it's always, remember always to add the ending inventory, subtract the beginning, and then for raw materials, you multiply how many grams or how many whatever you need per unit. And then
I think I was making this more complicated by trying to put it in the little schedule thing. This seems a lot more simple.
yeah, I'm just using,
I mean, you're putting
Only
it in there
one.
technically.
yeah.
That would make sense. The ones where you have to put in, where you're like doing, you know, the percentage of the next amount. And then there's places, there's a number that goes into your start for the next quarter. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, that is the cash collections.
yeah, I can't ever remember which, this one I put here and this one I put here and why I put this one here. If we could do a problem.
Yeah,
Like,
so
how do you remember which one goes back up there? And
Because your
Yeah,
ending cash from quarter one goes up in quarter two at your beginning cash balance.
yeah, like this one, it's negative 116,000, and it's the same here. Here.
that one, that's not the one I'm talking about, I don't think.
You mean the percentage? Like
It's
if
where
they
you
do
put
20% from next
it's-
year's?
Yeah, it's like where you're, it's the percentage one. That one's, this one's not,
I guess,
well, it's confusing, but it's not as confusing.
I think is this one.
Yeah, that's where you're using 20.
Yeah, it's
or-
just that
Like,
in
I
this
can
one,
start by putting in all the numbers and stuff, and then I get most of the quarters figured out by, you know, doing the percentages.
there are two that have percentages, the accounts
Well, you know what,
receivable and accounts.
I think it's the one above. That one, yeah, I think it's that one that I struggle with.
So direct materials budget.
Yeah.
I think
Which
she's
is-
struggling with like 10, where you're adding desired of raw materials, right? Because that's based on next month's.
Yeah, like you have blanks, like if there's not something in a spot and you have nothing to multiply it by.
Well, because this one, the materials budget is basically what we just did. Just multiplying it times the grams and then add the ending and subtract the beginning.
That's just a simpler way to do that other problem.
Yeah,
Okay, I like this way better.
yeah, because I mean, we're just doing for 1 month, but if you do for a whole year, then
Yeah, it's where you
Gonna
have
be
the
more
whole
complicated.
year. It's where you do the whole year thing that I get baffled.
yeah, it makes sense. But yeah, it's just the same thing. It's just that you do it for every month, or
So I could do that simpler thing for each of the months.
it is the same. Because if you see, they multiply it. So this is the same as the 3 grand. Where is it? Here. So they multiply it 3. They multiply times 1 here, and then it's the same number. And then they added desired units. I added desired units, desired ending. And they get this. I got this. Then you subtract beginning of U2, subtract beginning, you have a result. I got a result too. The only difference in this one is that they give you, if they give you like the price per gram, for example, if it was $2 per gram, then you just multiply the grams times the price to get, just to know how much it's gonna cost the total raw materials needed
Total
to
cost.
purchase. But yeah, it's the same. it looks less complicated because I wrote less, I guess.
Natalia, so in that second sheet, the spreadsheet to the right,
Mhm.
so B11, sorry, B10, total raw materials, that one is based off of the next month, right? Like if they say, oh, raw materials are based off of the following months, they want to have like 20% in there, then you would do
So this
whatever.
this one does 10% because
Yeah, it's
88 was
10%.
10%.
Yeah,
Okay,
10% of 83, and this is 10%
And
of this.
ending materials is what goes over to the year, and then
Yeah, the ending, like this one,
mhm,
is the same beginning of the one before. So this one is the same as this
okay.
one.
It makes
so the
sense.
beginning raw materials inventory. Oh, you have 2,100 at the first and the end.
This one, 21,000.
Yeah, you have that on in the year and
Yeah. So yeah, I guess for this example, they gave you that number.
Yeah, because
that
it's always
number
going to be what you had in the beginning, that for the
Mhm.
year.
Yeah.
It'll always be based on what the first number was.
Okay, so
Yeah.
that 2,100 came from what?
came
Exactly.
from-
So they gave you the number in the questions. How much, like in this one, is this, so the beginning was 1,000. It's right here. So from the month before. So they gave it to you.
Can you make that larger so I can like screenshot it? Thanks.
And well, it's been an hour already. I know that Laura has a question, but if you guys have to leave, that's fine.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay. Laura, what is your question?
Okay, can I share my screen?
Are you gonna share the screen? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
So this is the one that I was asking you at the beginning. I don't know if you can see it.
Not yet.
I wasn't able to do that. But this is the one that has here
You need to
B.
share your screen first.
Okay, wait. Am I sharing the screen or not?
No, not yet.
Oh, okay. Sorry, guys.
It's okay.
This is the question from last night that it tricked me out because it has in B, it says that there was part of the units that were not used.
Mm-hmm.
And then I wasn't able to do the variable overhead rate variance or the efficiency because I was so confused about all the numbers they give.
Yeah.
But this part was because they were saying like, they first said 2,400 hours and they give it a price, but then they said that the last variable overhead cost last month total it, and then they give these, but then down here, they said that the average cost time it's 1160. And then again, here they said another price for the hours. So it was like,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So you have to see which ones are for direct labor and which ones are for variable overhead. So the 2,400 hours is for both variable and labor. So we're gonna need that. Of labor time. So during the past month, 2,400 hours of labor time were recorded in the lab at a cost of 26,400. So that 26,400 is only for direct labor. So let's not worry about that one.
okay, so then the actual hours is 2,400.
Yeah. And the total cost, the actual overhead cost, it was 19,200. So 19,200 for variable and 26,400 for labor. And because we're gonna solve for variable, we're just gonna use 19,200.
Okay,
Then you said 1160. Okay, so it says right here labor already,
yes,
right? So when they give you a price for a standard, this we won't need it because it's 1160 per hour what they pay for direct labor. But the 0.8 hours, that's what we're going to need. 0.8 hours and 0.40 hours because it's two products, so we will need both of them. And then for variable overhead, we will need everything. The average rate for variable overhead is 750 per hour. So that is the standard rate, 750 per hour. So what is the first question? Or is it both? Okay.
it's both the overhead rate variance and the efficiency.
Okay. So let's do the three columns, maybe right here, pretty small.
Okay, let me see, how can I make this? I can make it smaller. Let's see. I don't know how to do it.
No, it was better before. Yeah, I think we're okay like that. So, it might be easier if we just use the formulas. So the rate variance is the first column and the second column. So actual hours times standard rate minus actual rate. Okay. So what is the actual hours?
2,400.
Where is it? 400. I can
It might
see
be
it.
higher.
Oh, sorry, guys. It's 2,400.
Oh, okay. Yeah. 2,400. Okay, let's go back a little bit or down. There. Okay. 24,000, right? I think it
No,
was
it's 2,400.
Oh yeah.
Uh-huh.
Right. Okay, and then standard rate.
750
Perfect.
minus the actual rate is 8.
What is it?
The standard, the actual rate is 8. It's no, I don't know what yeah. So yeah, when we divided the 19,200 between the two, the 2,400, that was 8. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, you need to be quiet, please. Silence and sound, please, both of them.
Okay. So let's do that 7.50. Well, it's gonna be 0.5 times 2,400, 1,200.
Okay,
Favorable or unfavorable?
unfavorable. Because they actually use more than the
Yeah.
standard was.
50 cents more. Yeah. Okay, so that is the variable overhead rate variance. Now the efficiency variance. Standard rate times standard hours minus actual hours. Okay, standard rate, we know that is 750. And then standard hours. So it's pointed hours to complete a blood test and 0.40 hours to complete a smear.
Yeah, it's 2,160.
Okay, how do you get that?
So I multiply the time for the test, for each test, and the amount of tests that they did. So it's
Okay,
here,
perfect.
1,000 blood and 3,400 smears.
Okay, yeah, that's right. So what is the number again?
It's 2,160.
And then actual hours.
Actual hours to 2,400.
Yeah. Okay. Let's do that. 2160 minus 2,400 times 7.5. It's 1,800. Is that favorable or unfavorable?
Unfavorable.
Yeah, because they use more hours than the standard hours.
Okay, thank you
Yeah,
so
so
much.
that's the answers.
Thank you.
You're
So
welcome.
then when they trick us like that, giving us two different amounts, it's about looking for where it says the overhead or the direct labor.
Yeah, so you use the only the hours of direct labor, but none of
Not
the
the
rates.
price. Okay.
Yeah, only the
Okay.
hours.
Well, thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Laura, I sent you a spreadsheet that I worked on with the tutor for that problem, if you want
Uh,
to look at it.
Yes,
in the
thank you.
chat- In the
I'll get
chat.
it. Thank you. I got it down. Thanks.
I have a
Okay,
Complicated one.
I'm
Thank you,
going to post this recording to you, so
Thank you, Natalia.
okay, you're
I'll
welcome.
go over and post what my teacher said about the final too.
Okay,
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. I
okay.
appreciate your
Have a
help and your
good
time.
one. You're welcome. Bye.
Bye.